So here's my point, and I'll make it as quick as I can. Here's basically my ultimate point lately. The thing that I think I've been beating around the bush about with everybody. I haven't been playing my original music very much for folks, but I'll tell you what. I'm getting ready to change all that. But I'll tell you what, that I think that my ultimate point is this, which is that I think that our country is headed for a really weird thing, something that I really was hoping wouldn't happen, which is that everybody's dividing, right? And even people who are choosing their sides are making this observation and saying, why? It's just too bad that that everybody can't agree with me. And the other side is saying, it's just too bad that everybody can't just agree with me, because then we'd all be in agreement and we wouldn't be divided. It's too bad we're all divided. We're so bitterly divided. And this is what everybody's saying. So it's like this thing that's going on. And here's what I think. Is it important to me? Actually, in a way it is. It's not important to me in the political spectrum. It's important to me in this kind of weird, highly idealistic way that I view us as a people, both as a country and as a global community. So it's kind of like what I believe is that there's a great deception that is going on. And that's what I personally believe, okay, which is that there's kind of like there's a very clever bunch of shit that's going on here that involves people who have the ability to control pretty much everything. They can control what you see, what you hear, and what you think, really, in a lot of ways if you're not careful. So it's kind of like what I see is that people think they see all kinds of things on both sides of the political spectrum. I think that people think they see all kinds of things, and when the reality is that it is all designed to be this confusing, chaotic mess. This is what I believe, and I believe that there really is no side in the first place, and this is what's going to probably make me sound like a kook. So, and that's just that I don't believe there are political sides. I believe it's all a big fucking puppet show, and I believe that people are falling for it right and left. I'm really surprised at some of the educated minds that are doing it. It's ridiculous, you guys, okay? The idea that you would put so much weight onto the political world and the arena of bullshit that is being shoved down our throats left and right. Keep in mind that TV, for instance, when it first came out, it was designed to be like, this kind of like, what's the word? Entertaining. It was designed to be entertainment. And somehow people began to figure out that Americans were looking at the TV set and they were seeing what they were seeing on it, and they were taking it as real, right? So the next thing you knew, they were able to, they started being able to con people in all kinds of ways through the TV set, because they knew that Americans were looking at this thing and thinking, oh, this is real. This is reality. This is real. And, it's kind of like that, except now it's just like on this huge, huge scale because of the internet and, forums and, all these independent news broadcasters, and then of course there's our lovely mainstream news broadcasters like CNN and Fox 5 and all of their honest contributions to the world and so forth and so on. It's all bullshit, and it's just amazing to me that people are willing to worry, for one thing. That's the first thing. The idea that people would be so afraid and so worried about these things to the point where they're willing to let it take away from their own happiness, of their own lives, for the sake of putting so much salt into these stupid goddamn things that are going on within the political spectrum, Washington, D.C., and all of their freaking stupid cronies and all of their stupid political sideshows and all of their stupid stunts. And everybody's all just like, it's like there is more to me that matters to who we are. And it's not even really about being American, although I think that it's perfectly okay to say that. But I think that also it's about being human, being real. So I just think that my problem right now is that, and I'll just go ahead and keep saying it, and I'll sing about it, and I'll keep trying to suggest the same thing that I have been suggesting, which is that Here's what I personally believe, and this is what it gets down to, okay? What I personally believe is that we are being conned, okay, in a major way, okay, by a system that attempts to illustrate itself as a kind of a duality. And there is no duality. There's a singularity. Okay, there is only one enemy here, not two. There are no two sides. But how they manage to pull off what they pull off is by this wonderful display of just extraordinary performance that they put on for the news and for everybody else. And it's all the same. To me, it's all the same. Okay, it's the same problem. It's the same entity. It's the same situation. No matter whether you're a demo fuck or a republic fuck, you're dealing with the same exact thing, which is you're dealing with a world power that is doing what it knows how to do best, which is divide people, conquer people through this division, and, just get them in a twitch so that you can get them to do what you want them to do. And that's what they're doing. That's what's going on here. And I look at people and I realize that they want to feel important because they have an opinion or they have a vote or they have and it's like, and I even see the arguments and what I really see behind it is I see the passion and I see the desire of people to have a point and to stand in to the world in some way and say, I have a message or I have a point or I have an opinion and it counts and it matters. Well, it's fine. It's great. The only problem is, the thing that really pisses me off about what these people are so clever at doing is that your opinion isn't going anywhere. It doesn't account for anything but the very thing that they want it to accomplish, which is to divide you and your neighbor, to divide you and your family member, to do anything they possibly can to create this adverse condition between the American people. And that's my problem. So basically it's like this. I think that anytime anybody comes along and says, choose this or fuck off, I'm going to be like, fuck off yourself, because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be grouped in or lassoed in to some stupid idea that says, oh, I'm supposed to not be a human being for a moment. I'm not supposed to be a nice person. I'm not supposed to be a kind person, a compassionate person. I'm not supposed to be decent to this person if they voted the way I don't like. I'm supposed to be mean to them and call them names and condescend them. No, I am not going to do those things. But that is what we as Americans are being taught to do. And every single time they come up with another wave of this bullshit, more people fall for it. More people come into it. Every time we have another goddamn election in this country, we all go right back to where we were before the whole thing, which is we forget how to be decent. And meanwhile, I'm thinking that this is all because of politics. This is all because of politics. And some people think, politics are such a worthy endeavor. Well, I really don't think it is. I don't think that politics have ever done anything to serve our country. I think that the things that served our country had to do with the people. It always did. Any kind of major changes that have ever occurred in this country occurred because of the people, because of their ultimate unity in a particular subject or decision that needed to be made, and their unified feelings about it, were so intense and so persistent that it forced the government to change how they do things. This idea of being divisive, this idea of only looking at what's right in front of your nose when it comes to politics, it's a very foolish idea. So, in my opinion, people have forgotten how to really look at the big picture of this thing and say, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Do I really want to be a participant in this? Do I really want to be someone who puts all of my worry and all of my concern and all of my energy into this endeavor of being against something that I barely understand myself? You think you understand it, but you don't. The problem is that, folks, we're looking at information that has nothing to do with our lives, has nothing to do with who we are, It's not. I mean, all we're doing is getting snapshots and glimpses of potential things that may or may not be true, that we can't really personally confirm either way, because we're just normal, average bears living normal, average, ordinary American lives, and we don't know what the hell is really going on over there in Washington, and we don't know what the hell is really going on inside the minds of the politicians and the minds of the higher ups and the elites and the folks that are all doing all these things that they're doing. We don't know. We don't, and they like to make us think that we do, and we don't. And so it's kind of like the joke's on all of us if we think that they can do what they do and somehow we have anything to do with it, because we don't. And so that's my problem. My problem is that we're putting a lot of effort and a lot of focus and a lot of thought and a lot of energy into something that has nothing to do with who we are as a people. Love that.